The Fiat L6 40th was a light tank used by the Italian Army from 1940 through World War II. It was designed by Fiat-Ansaldo as an export product, and was adopted by the Italian Army when officials learned of the design and expressed interest. It was the main tank employed by the Italian forces fighting on the Eastern Front alongside the L6 40th's base Semovente 47-32 self-propelled gun. L6 40s were also used in the North African campaign. The official Italian designation was Carro Armato L6 40ths. This designation means L for Leggero, followed by the weight in tons and the year of adoption. Design and development. The L6 40ths was a conventional light tank design of riveted construction. A one-man turret in the center mounted a single breeder Modello 35 20mm main gun and a breeder 38 18mm coaxial machine gun. The driver sat in the front right of the hull. The riveted armor was 6 to 30mm in thickness, which was roughly equivalent to existing Allied light tanks. A further development of the Fiat L3 light tank, the L6 went through a number of prototypes during the late 1930s. The first was armed with a sponson-mounted 37mm main gun and a machine gun-armed turret. A later version featured a turret-mounted 37mm gun, and yet another version had only twin 8mm machine guns. Ultimately, the production configuration, named Carro Armato L6 40th, was put into production in 1939, with 283 finally produced variants. The L6LF flame tank variant was developed, in which the main gun was replaced by a flamethrower with 200 liters of fuel. A command tank variant carried extra radio gear and had an open-top turret. The most successful of the L6 variants was the Semovente 47-32, which eliminated the turret and substituted a 47mm anti-tank gun in the open-topped hull. A final version late in the war was an ammunition carrier armed only with a single 8mm breeder machine gun. It was used alongside the Semovente 90-53s, carrying 26 extra 90mm rounds, as the Semovente 90-53s itself could only carry 6 rounds. Combat use. L6 40ths light tanks were used by the Italians in the Balkans campaign, in the war against the Soviet Union, in the latter stages of the North African campaign, and in the defense of Sicily and Italy. The L6 40ths was the main tank employed by the Italian forces fighting on the Eastern Front. The L6 fought alongside the L6 40th's base Semovente 47-32 self-propelled gun. Although a good light tank for its size and an improvement over the tankets that were common within the Italian army, it was already obsolete by the time of its introduction. The low silhouette of the vehicle made it useful for reconnaissance, and its armament was effective against any light vehicles it might encounter. However, due to a lack of a suitable medium tank, it was often employed in a combat role, for which it was unsuited. The L6 was also used by the German army and the Croat Ustase militia. The L6 40ths was used post-war by the Italian militia until it was phased out during the early 1950s. Surviving examples. 3 L6 40s survive. One is kept in Legnano near the Cadorna barracks, one is in the inventory of the Kubinka Tank Museum, and another is preserved in a museum at Argyricastrun in Albania. Extended specification. Obstacle clearance, waterfording 0.8 meters, gradient 60%, vertical obstacle 0.7 meters, trench 1.7 meters. Elevation and traverse -12 degrees to +20 degrees through 360 degrees of rotation.